Larenz Tate stole hearts in Love Jones, but what he never told you about Tyler Perry might change how you see them both. Behind the scenes, whispers of a hidden bond have followed them for years. Private getaways in Atlanta, late-night calls, and career moves that feel too connected to be coincidence. Why the silence? And what does it all say about power, loyalty, and identity in Black Hollywood? This expose unpacks the rumors, timelines, and secrets they've kept in the shadows. What connects Larenz Tate and Tyler Perry, two of the most private, carefully guarded figures in Black Hollywood, might not lie in what they say, but in what they refuse to say. Though Perry didn't produce Love Jones, some online theories suggest he quietly supported Larenz Tate's early rise, perhaps offering access to closed industry doors or funding that never made it to the credits. There's no hard proof, but whispers of behind-the-scenes involvement persist, often fueled by the uncanny way Tate seemed to stay afloat in an industry that can be unforgiving, especially to aging Black male actors who don't play the Hollywood game. What is on record, though, is their confirmed collaboration later in Tate's career. After a quiet stretch in the 2000s, Tate re-emerged in several projects connected to Tyler Perry's empire, most notably his appearance in The Haves and the Have-Nots, one of the flagship shows under Perry's own network deal. Perry was the creator, showrunner, and executive producer. Tate was a featured star, front and center again after years of operating beneath the radar. In Hollywood, actors often stick with directors and producers they trust. But some believe this pairing wasn't just business. It was personal. Online sleuths, gossip forums, and even longtime fans have pointed out the oddly timed overlaps between their careers. Just as Larenz's mainstream momentum began to slow after the early 2000s, Tyler Perry's dominance started to rise. Perry, who had built his own studio in Atlanta and secured his own distribution pipelines, didn't need to answer to Hollywood gatekeepers. He could cast whoever he wanted, and time and again, he chose actors with whom he had deep, private rapport. Those who didn't just need a job, but who needed protection. The whispers intensified when Tate started popping up in shows and circles closely aligned with Perry's productions. It wasn't just casting, it was access. Tate seemed to resurface only when Perry's platform expanded, and unlike many of Perry's actors who did press runs, panels, and appearances, Larenz kept it low. No interviews, no behind-the-scenes clips, just enough to be present, but never enough to be seen. That calculated distance didn't go unnoticed. Rumors soon swirled, first in coded gossip blog entries and blind items that spoke vaguely about a famous Black director and a 90s heartthrob hiding a decades-long relationship. Names were never dropped, but the comment sections told a different story. Again and again, readers zeroed in on Perry and Tate, and the theory was always the same. The public-facing careers, the radio silence on their personal lives, the professional intersections, it was all part of a well-constructed cover, a system designed to allow them to remain close without drawing too much attention. What made the rumors even harder to ignore was how deliberately both men avoided talking about relationships altogether. Larenz Tate, despite being married to Thomasina Parrott for years, rarely appears with her in public. There are barely any photos, even fewer quotes. He gives polished, friendly interviews, but when the topic shifts to love, marriage, or even gender dynamics, he sidesteps with grace. Some fans took this as a healthy boundary. Others saw something else. A man trained to protect something bigger than just his marriage.
And so I stay away from her and I sleep in a different room, so she doesn't get pregnant because she always gets pregnant.
One of the most persistent claims involved reports that Larenz and his wife sleep in separate rooms, a detail that would be insignificant for most couples, but in this context became gasoline for the fire. Why would a man famous for playing passionate lovers avoid even the appearance of romance in real life? Tyler Perry, meanwhile, has become a master of silence. Despite decades of tabloid speculation, He has never publicly acknowledged any romantic partner beyond vague references. He's played iconic roles like Medea, exaggerated, often gender-bending, and yet steers interviews away from personal or political identity discussions. His refusal to confirm or deny anything has created a vacuum that fans and critics alike fill with their own narratives. And that's where the dots start to connect for some. Two men, both talented, both powerful, both intensely private, both in control of their public image, both with timelines and career moves that seem to rise and fall in tandem, both surrounded by a haze of mystery, and both working subtly, carefully, just beneath the surface of mainstream speculation. To some, it's all coincidence, just two successful men who guard their privacy. But to others, it looks like a pact, a bond forged not only in creative trust but in secrecy, loyalty, and something even deeper that the industry and the public was never meant to see.
Keep on bitching about my tape, man. God damn, ain't shit gonna happen.
Larenz Tate has been the definition of a heartthrob since the 90s. From Menace to Society to Love Jones, he's built a legacy playing soulful, passionate, emotionally complex black men characters who radiated depth, vulnerability, and undeniable charm. For many fans, he wasn't just a movie star, he was the dream guy. But as Larenz's star rose, so did fans' curiosity. Despite his status as a leading man and romantic icon, his personal life remained practically invisible. There were no paparazzi shots of beachside vacations, no red carpet appearances with a date, no viral couple moments, just silence.
Thomasina is incredible, man. We met almost 20 years ago.
So when it finally came out that Larenz was married to Thomasina Parrott, an actress and professional dancer, fans didn't react with relief. They had more questions. Why had no one seen them together at major events? Why were they never photographed publicly showing affection? And why do some reports claim they don't even share a bedroom? Larenz, known for being eloquent and engaging in interviews, always sidestepped personal topics with a practiced ease. He rarely, if ever, spoke about his wife, his family dynamic, or his views on relationships. And in today's era of oversharing celebrities, that kind of silence speaks volumes to some. It didn't take long for the internet to run wild. Reddit threads, blind items, and YouTube gossip videos began suggesting that his deep privacy wasn't about protecting his marriage, but hiding something entirely different. A growing theory emerged that Larenz's real truth was being quietly shielded from public view. By 2004, Larenz Tate had everything: charm, talent, legacy. But just as fast as he rose, he dipped. From Dead Presidents to Love Jones, fans expected Tate to dominate the big screen for decades. But from 2005 to 2013, Hollywood got quiet. No blockbuster roles, no red carpets, no interviews, and folks started whispering. Some said he was blackballed. Others claimed he refused to play ball with gatekeepers behind the scenes. But in the shadows of that silence, Tyler Perry's empire was just beginning, and the timing? Almost too perfect. Tyler was coming up, Larenz was disappearing. Coincidence? Maybe. But not everybody buys that. As Tyler Perry carved out his niche, he developed a pattern casting soft-spoken, clean-cut black men who always had a wife or a wholesome image. Lance Gross, Boris Kodjoe, Shemar Moore. But the one man he never cast? Larenz Tate. Yet, during this same era, Larenz suddenly rebranded. Interviews were now all about my wife, my kids, my faith. Family-first energy. It felt authentic, sure, but oddly aligned with Perry's signature masculine aesthetic. Some say Tyler helped Larenz clean up his image to protect both their reputations. But why? Why didn't they ever work together on screen? Because some believe working together publicly would have set off alarms. And standing at the center of that theory, Tyler Perry, a man just as private, just as powerful, and just as surrounded by whispers.
Tyler Perry is an actor, writer, director, producer, and billionaire.
Tyler Perry isn't just a filmmaker. He's a one-man media empire. Worth hundreds of millions with studios that rival major Hollywood players, Perry has built a career on stories that celebrate faith, family, and personal transformation. But while his characters often bear their souls on screen, Perry himself remains a locked vault. Though he's been linked to model and activist Galila Bekele, the mother of his child, Perry has never publicly identified his sexuality. And over the years, this silence has only fueled more speculation. In a world where every detail of a celebrity's life is dissected online, Perry's deliberate privacy stands out, and fans have noticed.
I came out on the Tyler Perry show, and like for whatever reason, he gets to rap like that. And I know Tyler personally, he's not gay.
Actor Tyler Lepley, one of Perry's go-to leading men, once addressed the rumors directly in an interview with Angela Yee's Lip Service. Lepley denied that either he or Perry were gay, chalking up the speculation to the fact that people don't see you out with girls all the time. But the statement did little to calm the noise. Because the rumors never truly died, they multiplied. Many point to Perry's tight control over his image. He's known for working with a close-knit circle of actors, rarely being seen in public with romantic partners, and steering interviews away from anything personal. Add to that his deeply religious upbringing in the Southern Black church, and you begin to see the layers of complexity. According to Walter Lee Hampton, a former associate of Perry's, this wasn't by accident. In a now-deleted YouTube video, Hampton claimed that Perry once explicitly asked him and others in his inner circle to help maintain a public image that wouldn't alienate his faith-based audience. Hampton alleged that Perry feared backlash if his private life clashed too heavily with the Christian values portrayed in his work. Whether these claims were true or exaggerated, they struck a chord with fans and fueled years of online speculation. The combination of extreme success, deep-rooted secrecy, and whispers from those allegedly on the inside has created a mystery that refuses to go away. And at the edge of that mystery is where Larenz Tate's name starts to appear. Back in 2014, or was it 2016, whispers started floating after the BT Awards. Not about the performances, not about the winners, but about who left together. Word is, Tyler and Larenz were spotted dipping out the back exit, not on camera, but the security guards were talking. It didn't make the blogs, didn't make the press, but in the industry, people noticed. Some insiders say that moment was a breaking point, the last time the two were seen in public within minutes of each other. Fast forward to 2020, lockdown season. Everybody was stuck at home. Except Tyler Perry. He had an entire studio lot in Atlanta, private, secure, no outsiders. But a rumor emerged, one so slippery it barely stayed online. Tyler allegedly had someone staying with him during the pandemic. Not staff, not family, someone close, someone famous. Some said it was a male actor, others hinted at someone married, a family man. Could have been anyone. But a few threads pointed to a name folks weren't expecting: Larenz. Tyler Perry isn't just a filmmaker. He's a cultural juggernaut, an actor, writer, director, studio head, and billionaire with a fortress-like grip on his brand. In an industry where very few Black creatives have control over production, distribution, and casting, Perry stands virtually alone. His success is historic. But with that level of influence comes scrutiny, and, in some corners of the internet, deeply rooted suspicion. Over the years, a growing chorus of critics, YouTubers, Redditors, and even industry insiders have whispered about the unspoken rules of Perry's empire. The theory goes that Perry doesn't just build careers, he manages narratives. That behind the scenes, there's a tightly curated inner circle of actors, collaborators, and creatives who thrive not only because of talent, but because of their allegiance, their discretion, their silence. In this context, Larenz Tate isn't just another actor on the payroll. He's someone Perry has gone out of his way to shield. According to this speculation, the bond between the two isn't simply about trust, it's about protection. Perry, with his near-total autonomy in the projects he produces, can ensure work for those he deems loyal. And Larenz Tate, with his long-standing silence around certain parts of his life, fits the mold of someone who values that protection and honors it in return. Supporters of this theory point to the unusual patterns in Tate's career. After dominating the 90s and early 2000s, he seemed to slow down. He wasn't at every red carpet. He wasn't dropping albums, chasing headlines, or aligning with blockbuster franchises like many of his peers. And yet he never disappeared. Instead, he appeared just enough, always in strategic roles, always tied to platforms with strong Black leadership or tight creative control. When Tyler Perry Studios exploded in the 2010s, Tate began to resurface in carefully selected roles, often within or adjacent to Perry's productions. These weren't tabloid-friendly parts. They weren't flashy, but they were steady, controlled, safe. Fans who follow these patterns argue that Perry offers more than jobs. He offers cover. In a Hollywood still dominated by white gatekeepers, being part of Perry's ecosystem can mean bypassing the usual PR scrutiny. If you're in, no questions asked. But the same fans also note how rare it is to see someone in Perry's world challenge the narrative. Once you're inside, you play by the rules, and one of the most sacred rules: silence. Silence about personal life, silence about sexuality, silence about dynamics that could fracture the family values image Perry's empire has been built on. So when Tate continues to dodge questions about his marriage, avoids public displays of affection, and refuses to offer even generic thoughts about love or relationships in interviews, it doesn't go unnoticed. To some, it's a man fiercely guarding his boundaries. To others, it's a man living within a carefully constructed arrangement. There's no evidence, just patterns. Patterns of casting, patterns of privacy, patterns of reappearances timed perfectly with Perry's rise, patterns of loyalty visible not in what's said, but in what's never acknowledged. And in this theory, that's the real power of allegiance. A mutual understanding built not on contracts or credits, but on secrets. Protected at all costs. Across YouTube, TikTok, Reddit, and old-school gossip blogs, a rabbit hole of speculation surrounds Tyler Perry's private life, and Larenz Tate's name pops up more than most would expect. One particularly viral YouTube expose titled "Tyler Perry's Secret Lovers" goes beyond surface-level rumors, suggesting Perry has quietly maintained a network of trusted male companions over the years, not assistants or business partners, but discreet collaborators whose careers consistently orbit Perry's influence. The video leans heavily on speculation, timelines, and industry patterns, rather than hard proof. But the comments? They light up with familiarity. Over and over, viewers drop the same name, Larenz Tate, not because of tabloid drama, not because of any public scandal, but because of his disappearing act when it comes to anything personal. Fans point out how he's consistently charming and articulate in interviews until the subject veers toward his marriage, sexuality, or home life. Then the walls go up. Some users argue it's a clear pattern, an attractive, bankable star from the 90s who somehow avoided the dating rumor mill entirely. No messy breakups, no cheating scandals, no surprise flings with co-stars, just silence. And in the internet's eyes, that silence is loud. One widely shared clip features a content creator saying in a low, conspiratorial tone, "Larenz Tate, come on now. The man's been moving in silence for 20 years. You don't stay that clean in Hollywood unless someone's protecting you. And who do you think that someone is?" As unverified as these videos may be, their traction speaks volumes. The theory isn't just about sexuality, it's about strategy. The suggestion that Perry may help certain actors navigate Hollywood unscathed as long as they maintain a particular code of silence. And who else seems to have followed that code? Larenz Tate. You'd think Larenz Tate, beloved, box office tested household name, would have appeared in at least one Tyler Perry film or show. He never did. And that silence speaks louder than a contract. Was it to keep distance? To avoid triggering more speculation? Or was it a line they drew to protect something deeper? The wildest rumor? A stolen diary. Back in 2006, an alleged ex-employee of Tyler's claimed to have seen handwritten notes, love letters, names, feelings. One entry allegedly described a light-skinned, dimple-faced actor who couldn't be seen in public with me. No proof, no leaks, just whispers. But when it came up on Lipstick Alley and Reddit, the thread vanished within days. Some say it was fake. Others, they believe it was scrubbed.
What the man said, I violated you.
Yeah.
I mistreated you.
Yeah.
Do you know, Shannon, that's cost my family tens of millions of dollars?
Yeah.
I knew Tyler wouldn't support that. He never told nobody not to work with her. When I talked to him, he was like, "Nah, I never told no one not to work with her." And I said, "But you Tyler Perry, and you never told anyone to work with her."
Years later, Monique would call out Tyler Perry on national radio. But what some people missed, she wasn't just calling him out about money. She was talking about manipulation, control, secrets. And if Tyler was that calculated with business, imagine how far he'd go to hide his private life. Maybe Larenz Tate wasn't just a friend. Maybe he was the secret Tyler fought hardest to protect. Where there's smoke. Of course, none of this is proven. There are no leaked photos, no recorded confessions, no credible sources attaching either man to any romantic relationship with each other. But Hollywood doesn't run on facts alone. It runs on narrative. And sometimes, whispers behind the scenes carry more power than any press release ever could. What is confirmed is this. Larenz Tate has had an unusually private personal life for someone who's been famous since his teens. Tyler Perry has built an empire that operates like a closed system, with full control over casting, production, and public image. The two have collaborated professionally more than once, and when fans start connecting dots, they often circle back to the same themes: secrecy, loyalty, and controlled visibility. Even in 2025, both men continue to operate on their own terms, rarely acknowledging gossip, never correcting speculation, and maintaining tight reins on public perception. That refusal to explain has only added fuel to the fire. So what did Larenz Tate never tell us about Tyler Perry? Maybe nothing. Or maybe everything. Because this isn't just about two men. It's about the broader game of image-making in Black Hollywood, where masculinity, faith, identity, and perception collide. Where careers are built not just on talent, but on silence, discretion, and alignment with unspoken power. In a world that demands transparency from celebrities yet punishes them for revealing too much, Perry and Tate may simply be playing by the oldest rule in Hollywood. Protect your peace and protect your secrets. But for those who read between the lines, the silence speaks louder than any scandal. What do you believe? Is it loyalty or something deeper? Let us know in the comments.